What if the man you mocked turned out to be the one who signed your paycheck? What if the stranger you laughed at held your entire future in his hands? Today's story begins with a simple request inside a crowded bank. "I'll pay you double if you have a balance." The manager laughed, dismissing the man as a fool. But little did he know, the stranger standing before him was the CEO of the very bank he managed. What happened next shocked not just the manager, but the entire staff, and left everyone with a lesson they would never forget. The morning was like any other in the city. Employees rushed to their offices, coffee cups in hand, horns blaring in traffic, and people queuing up in banks to deposit or withdraw money. Inside a branch of Golden Trust Bank, the staff moved with the usual rhythm, clerks counting notes, tellers stamping slips, and the branch manager, Mr. Roth, walking with the air of superiority he had carefully built over years of climbing the corporate ladder. Mr. Roth was proud, perhaps too proud, of his position. He believed a manager was not just a leader, but above everyone else. His words were sharp, his judgments quick, and his patience thin. Customers often left his desk with sighs of frustration, but no one dared challenge him openly. After all, he held authority, and authority commanded fear. That day a man walked into the branch. He looked ordinary, dressed in simple clothes. Nothing flashy. Nothing that screamed wealth. His hair was slightly disheveled, and in his hand, he carried nothing but a small notebook. He approached the counter, where a young clerk was struggling with paperwork. The clerk, nervous and unsure, directed him to the manager's office. The man walked calmly, sat opposite Mr. Roth, and in a voice steady yet humble, said, "I want to check if you have a balance. I'll pay you double if you do." The words hung in the air. The staff nearby turned their heads, confused. Mr. Roth looked at the man and burst into laughter. "Double? Do you even know how banks work? Who are you to come in here with such a ridiculous offer?" He scoffed, loud enough for others to hear. "We don't do business with jokes, sir. If you want a balance inquiry, stand in line like everyone else." The clerks laughed nervously, copying their manager's reaction. The man, however, didn't flinch. He simply smiled as though the insult carried no weight. Then he said something strange. Sometimes, the way a person reacts says more about their balance than any account ever could. Mr. Roth frowned, irritated. "Enough of your nonsense! I don't have time for this. Get out before I call security." The man stood, nodded politely, and walked out of the office. But his words, calm yet piercing, echoed in the room long after he left. None of the staff understood what he meant. None, except one clerk, Sarah, who felt a chill run down her spine. The very next morning, the branch buzzed with unusual tension. Staff members whispered nervously, straightening their ties, polishing their desks. A black car had pulled up outside, and out stepped none other than Mr. Cameron Shaw, the CEO of Golden Trust Bank. He was a man of few public appearances, known for running the entire bank empire with a sharp mind and a quiet authority. For him to visit a single branch was unheard of. Every employee stood in line, hands clasped, waiting. Mr. Roth forced a smile, heart racing, trying to appear confident. But when the CEO entered the office, his smile vanished. It was him. The same man he had laughed at, dismissed, and insulted the day before. Gasps filled the room as the staff realized the truth. The ordinary man wasn't ordinary at all. He was the very leader of the institution, the man whose name was on every paycheck, whose vision kept the bank alive. Mr. Shaw walked slowly toward the manager's desk. He didn't raise his voice, nor did he show anger. Instead, he spoke with the same calm tone he had used yesterday. "Mr. Roth, yesterday you laughed at a customer because you thought his words were foolish. But what you failed to realize was that I wasn't testing your knowledge of banking. I was testing your balance. Your balance of patience, humility, and respect. And sadly, your account in that regard is empty." The silence was deafening. The clerks lowered their heads, ashamed at having laughed along. Sarah, the young clerk, felt tears in her eyes. Mr. Shaw continued, "A true manager does not measure people by their clothing, their tone, or their appearance. He measures them by their needs, their struggles, and their dignity. This bank exists because of customers, not because of titles. And a title without humility is just a hollow word." He turned to the staff and added, Let this be a lesson for all of us. Our real balance is not in our accounts, but in how we treat others. If you cannot show respect to one man, you cannot serve 1,000. With that, Mr. Shah quietly instructed the board to reconsider Mr. Roth's position. The manager's face turned pale. His arrogance, his pride. Everything collapsed in an instant. The laughter from yesterday now echoed back like a curse. As the CEO walked out, the staff remained in silence, reflecting on the moment. Sarah looked at her colleagues and whispered, "He was right, we all showed our true balance yesterday." The story spread like wildfire across the city. Customers began to admire the CEO's wisdom, and employees learned to greet every person with newfound respect. And the words of Mr. Shah became a lesson carved into the hearts of all who heard it. Your account in the bank may rise and fall, but your balance of character is what defines your true wealth. Never underestimate anyone based on appearances. True balance is not measured in money, but in patience, humility, and respect. Titles fade, wealth shifts, but dignity and kindness remain the real currency of life.